Thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. We begin the broadcast with big news that we're tracking as far as the situation in Bangladesh is concerned. Amid more deaths and turmoil in Bangladesh, we're given to understand that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has left Bangladesh. Let's also tell you Hasina leaves Bangladesh capital in army plane. We're also looking at these visuals on your screens right now, accessed by Times Network. Let's also tell you, given the current situation, Bangladesh Law Minister has stated situation is extremely volatile, but conflicting reports from local media. Now, some claim Hasina is en route Finland. Others say Hasina is headed to India. So that's the big development that we continue to track here. As far as the development in Bangladesh is concerned, remember, there have been protests in the past couple of weeks which triggered it essentially to do with the job quota protests, where the demonstrations, remember, had started at university campuses in the month of June after the High Court had reinstated a quota system for government jobs, overturning a 2018 decision by Hasina's government to scrap it. After that, we looked at how the death toll has only risen. Having said that, the latest big news on that front coming in is that what we're picking up at the moment is that amid more deaths and turmoil in Bangladesh, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has left Bangladesh. In fact, Hasina has left the Bangladesh capital in an army plane. But given the current situation on ground zero, we're given to understand that the Law Minister of Bangladesh has stated that situation extremely volatile. But as we continue to track the latest, let's also tell you these are conflicting reports that are coming in from the local media in Bangladesh. Because considering the fact that we're also looking at these visuals, you're essentially looking at two sets of visuals on your screens right now. Right-hand side, of course, of that particular moment, what we're given to believe is that the Bangladesh Prime Minister is leaving in that particular helicopter. On the left hand of your screens, you're looking at when the protests were taking place. These are weeks of protests which did intensify over a period of time, going on also to cause many deaths, that is. Having said that, this is the latest that we are picking up with the fact that reports suggest that Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina departed from Bangaban at around 2:30 p.m. This is in a military helicopter accompanied by her younger sister Sheikh Rihanna for a safer place. But these are reports that have been reported in local media. Let's also tell you, we are picking up local media is also having these conflicting reports stating that one, of course, that she's en route Finland. The other saying that Hasina is headed to India. In fact, the local media we're given to understand is also saying that Hasina may land in Bengal. And we'll try, of course, going across to my colleagues to get us more details about that. But this is the latest that we are given to understand as far as the situation of the Prime Minister fleeing Bangladesh is concerned. But these are reports. But remember, as far as these protests that have been taking place since weeks, 300 have been killed. These were violent Bangladesh protests. At least 98 people were killed and hundreds have been injured, as the police also, remember, had used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse 10,000s, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Hasina. So there was clearly a lot of push for that, given what we've been looking at. The violence marked one of the deadliest days in Bangladesh recent history, remember, surpassing the 67 deaths reported a few days earlier when the students had protested against the quota system for the government jobs. Let's also tell you how these protests, which began, like I mentioned, in the month of June, escalated dramatically when student activists at the Dhaka University clashed violently with the police and the pro-government counter-protests. But having said that, let's also tell you the roots of these protests lie in a controversial quota system. I'm given to understand my colleague Pooja is joining me for more. Pooja, good afternoon. A big development, but also conflicting reports that are coming in from local media of Bangladesh. Having said that, what do we know so far?
Sources are telling us that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been airlifted from Dhaka along with her sister Sheikh Rihanna. However, it is yet to be confirmed where she has been taken to. But amidst this, there are also rumors that she has left the country after resigning from her post of Prime Minister. Meanwhile, the protesters who are out on the streets have stormed into Bhavan, which is the official residence and office of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. They have gone on a rampage. Even while the police were trying to prevent them from entering, they had reached the barricades, violated the barricades and entered the Bhavan and have stormed into it. But at this point in time, tension prevails in Bangladesh as protesters continue to protest out on the streets, and some of them are also considering this as a victory march after word of her resignation has now surfaced.
Pooja, in fact, as you keep getting us those details and putting things into context, like you rightly pointed out, we're given to understand these are according to local media as to what would happen next. Having said that, you did point out about the victory march, and we've looked at how these protests have intensified over the past couple of weeks. For our viewers to better understand, essentially the bone of contention here was to do with the quota system, which is essentially why these protests had begun in the first place. All right, we'll try going across to my colleague Pooja Mehta, but for the moment we leave it at that because I understand Samya, my colleague, is joining us from the newsroom. Samya, good afternoon. We heard what Pooja Mehta, our colleague, had to say, but what is the latest that we know? What are we picking up? Also at a point of time where conflicting reports are being suggested in local media, that is.
Well, Nivedana, there are massive protests that Bangladesh has witnessed in the last few weeks, for that matter. But the last 24 hours were very crucial when the protests escalated, and there has been over 100 people dead that has been reported. And given the circumstances where the chorus was growing for the resignation of the of the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, the report that is just trickling in right now suggests that she has left the country. She has left Bangladesh, and probably she has taken off in a military chopper. Those are the live visuals that we are playing out on your screens right now. I beg your pardon, exclusive visuals on your screens right now that the Times Network has access of Sheikh Hasina leaving the country. And there are three options that we know as of now where she could have possibly taken off to, although there is no final confirmation on the same. There are reports that suggest that she has gone off to Finland or to West Bengal or Tripura, for that matter. What we have to remember is that this student-led agitation has been going on since 15 July, and they are not willing to back down on their demands, where they have categorically been asking for the abolishment of the quota system when it comes to getting jobs of the government sector, only specified to those hailing from the war veterans'
All right, Samya,
families.
stay with me. I understand Shinjoy, Times Network consultant, is also joining us. Shinjoy, a massive development that we're seeing. Just for us to better understand the given situation, what do we know?
We know that Sheikh Hasina, the reports that are coming in from Bangladesh are as follows: that Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister for the last 15 years, has been moved by the army in a helicopter, naturally to a safer location. Now, that is something we know, and there are reports that she could be moving to India. That is possible. But there is no confirmation on that. It is known very well that, of course, Sheikh Hasina has spent many years in India when after her father and mother and brothers were shot in 1975. This is exactly 50 years almost to that date, almost 50 years, 49 years. And now we have another uprising. That, of course, was a coup. This is an uprising, as you rightly said. It began vis-a-vis protests about reservations, because there was a plan to reserve
Right, Shinjoy, thank you very much for getting us those initial details. We understand we're running into a technical issue with your audio line. Having said that, this is the latest that we are picking up as far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned. Samya, coming back to you, please go ahead and tell us more as to what we're learning.
Well, Nivedana, we have to wait and see if there's any final confirmation that may come from the Indian authorities' end, because what we're given to understand that possibly she has taken off from Bangladesh, from Dhaka, and headed towards India. She could probably reach Tripura or West Bengal, because that is the adjoining state of India alongside Bangladesh. But we haven't got any official confirmation about the same. Remember, this is not just anybody coming into West Bengal. This is the Prime Minister of Bangladesh trying to take refuge of sorts to another country. So we have to wait and see whether that consent has been given by the Indian government or not. There is going to be an official confirmation about the same that we have to wait for. But as of now, there are three such options that we are talking about right now and hearing from our sources, is that she could probably have gone to West Bengal or to Finland or Tripura. Now, interestingly, remember, there's a curfew that has been imposed, and that led to the agitation becoming even more grave, because the manner in which the Bangladesh police are trying to crack down on the protesters and the way there has been a curfew imposed with the internet lines being snapped. There has also been a situation whereby which the students are not willing to back down from their demand. They have been very categorical in the demand. They do not want the quota system to exist at all. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh had reduced the 30% quota to far less. But what the students want is that they do not want the quotas for the jobs in entirety. We have to wait and see whether at all there's going to be anybody who would step in Sheikh Hasina's position to try and take charge of the current situation that is embroiling in Bangladesh. However, there is no official confirmation about her whereabouts. All that we can tell you right now, with the visuals exclusively accessed by Times Network, is that she has taken off in a military chopper and she has decided to flee the country amid the chorus growing for her resignation. We have to wait and see who is going to be the person stepping into her shoes and try to take law and order into account when it comes to the situation brewing in Bangladesh.
Right, Simon. In fact, as you get us those details, stay with me. I'm going to be right back for more information. But for the moment, as we continue to track this, we're also slipping into a quick break here on The Big Story. Stay with us. We're going to be right back this Monday afternoon.